Welcome. Speaking of welcome, we got welcome to Parisse here.
Oh, wow.
That was a great segment.
Did you practice that
I did not
transition?
practice that transition. That just came about, so I'm happy that was there.
LOL.
That's the artist break. That just
Artist.
came. I'm like, oh, wait, this is a great yes.
Are you a rapper?
Yeah,
Crazy.
I think so.
That's crazy.
Sometimes
You should come on if you
I'll
haven't thought about it.
I'll try it out one of these days. Yes, we have Parisse here. I've been saying this a lot lately because in the beginning I was letting people do their own introductions, and they're like, no, like you do the introductions. So if I miss anything, you can always like in this too.
I'll say it subtly.
Don't forget this.
Right.
We have Parisse here, who is very innovative, creative. She's been a spokesperson. She has event coordinated. She is a script writer, actress. She is a fashion guru. I'm gonna throw that one in there. That's not a good one.
I mean, I like it. It feels like a heavy title to hold.
Hey, but you be doing the thing with the videos and the little twirls, and I'll be like, okay, this is nice. Why would you don't add that to the tagline?
I don't usually add that because I feel like I know some fashion people, and I don't want to like
step on their toes.
Yeah, it's
Well,
theirs. They got it.
Are they really?
No, they
be
putting
style.
that on.
Oh, okay. Like that's what I was saying. Like, are they like getting into it? I think we was talking about some fashion, like with the whole like sweatpants thing. Like, is sweatpants a part of fashion now?
Yeah, I think so. I feel like anything can be fashion.
Yeah.
Just like if you give it enough like the details into it. Like sometimes people just throw stuff on and be like, yeah, this is hard. This is what so and so wear. I'm like, no, it's not.
So if they pull like the pants leg up and have like the one sock showing side, like do we not count that?
Nah, it's gotta be like some intentionality into like a fashion. For
I'm just gonna move this up a little bit.
Sorry.
No, you don't have to move up. I mean, if you want to move it, it's up to you.
But yeah, it's gotta be some like intentionality with something. It's art, so you gotta make sure it like follows some sort of structure. Some
sort.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. Okay. So what else am I adding to the list that I was missing? And I think I got a good amount of them. Yes. Heart of the City curator. You can before we talk about Heart of the City, because I want to talk about something else that was on my list to talk about, which was the Talent Project.
Oh, TBT.
Yeah. Yeah. Where'd it go?
I kind of sunset it for a little bit because I was doing the event stuff. And once COVID hit, it was kind of like, I don't know, it was a weird reset because I was just doing a bunch of stuff at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it felt like, I don't know, it just didn't feel unique anymore, to the fact that like I feel like I was seeing a lot of people doing something similar,
Mm-hmm.
which in one hand it felt like it was like the first, or at least the early versions of like what I keep seeing now.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just didn't know how to give it its new, like a new breath and make it feel unique. And then like with everything I do, I want it to feel unique enough to be like, oh, people can identify this, versus like it just being a batch of whatever else is out there.
Yeah.
So that's what I was feeling with the Talent Project, and that's kind of why I wanted to like tuck it for a little bit.
So did a little bit just turn into never coming back? Is it ever?
I guess I never gave it enough thought of like, wow, like how can I like evolve it from like what it was, and highlighting, connecting with new artists. And I think in a way like Heart of the City kind of like took its place in terms of like the connections I was making with new artists. But Talent Project did help me meet so many people like you. And even the people I work with now, I don't think that any of the stuff I would do with Heart of the City would be possible without the Talent Project. So
that's dope.
Yeah, it had its purpose.
So yeah, it led the way to Heart of the City. So
exactly.
it's never coming back.
I don't know. We'll see. It'll probably rebrand, take on a new name or something.
Okay, that's fair. No, I think it was a good. it was good. It was definitely was ahead of its time. And I think a lot of times I keep having that conversation with people about things that are like ahead of its time. You kind of go like, maybe I could have stuck it out. Maybe I could have kept it going. But, you know, mouth talk. Which we were just saying, you were like an honorary member. I think you filled in for Wait, did you fill in twice for Jones?
I don't remember.
Or did you fill in for Muck once and then filled in for Jones once?
I don't remember who I was filling in for. I remember, I guess because the Snapchat reminded me that I filled in for Julian at that time. But I don't know what other fill-ins I had, but I did feel like a Regis and Kelly situation where like
constant.
like they just kept bringing back this one person. They're like, all right, you're on the show.
You're on the show. Yeah, come back. We'll just fill you in. Just go and hop in. So speaking of Heart of the City, I was very saddened that we weren't getting this year. Yeah. Especially since I didn't have the opportunity to make this, you know, part 4.
Yeah.
And so we're not getting part 5 this upcoming year. Are we getting part 5 the next year? Have you thought about that? Is that something you want to give people, or it's just a break?
No, I do want to bring it back in 2026.
Okay.
I think it's also one of those things like next year I want to be able to figure out how I can best use the resources I have.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of the time as you saw a lot of volunteers coming in and supporting the event. And that's kind of like my first time taking on like such a big team of people. And I do want to be able to, figure out like how can I best use all the resources around me without feeling like I have to do everything. So I think that's one of the struggles I want to tackle. And also just taking some time to like listen to what's out there. Because I think in the last year, it was harder for me to really just get out there and just like see people live, hear their live performances. And I think that's kind of the essence of what I value in this event the most, is just being able to like go out there, curate this set list based on people who I know can kill it on stage and are going to put on a good show for people that they never, met before.
So the Heart of the City was missing the talent project part of it.
No, funny enough. But I wish I had time for like every single thing. You know what I mean? And like, I'm grateful for having a job, but at the same time, it's just like I'm not given the luxury of the freedom or free time that I used to have. So I think that part has been really hard on me because, coming out of college, you're not doing nothing. You have like a part-time job or something, or you're still living at your parents' house. So like it was easier just to be like, all right, I'm gonna go like drive 30 minutes to some random person's crib and like record them and then edit it and then put it in and write it. But now it's like I feel like I have to space out my time a little bit more.
So with that being said, how important is having a team when you're doing like these events like this? Because that they're big events.
Yeah.
Like how important is that? Because a lot of people talk about, like I do it by myself. It's like,
don't do it by yourself. I feel like 100% none of this will be possible without having people around me, and the community that's just built just off strength, like, and people being equally invested in seeing the end result, and believing in me and believing in the vision and what they see it becoming. So I'm grateful for like friends and like coworkers who have turned to friends. I even had people from my job, where I work now, come in and volunteer and like bring their expertise.
Wow. As
like PR people. So we got like a lot of press coverage in this past event because they just knew how to like move it. Yeah. And I was just like, all right, you got it. And I'll just like read off on something, see an email that they like drafted up, and I'm like, all right, approve, send, and then it'll be gone. Things like that. And I would love that sort of structure with like the whole enterprise, just like people coming in, bringing their expertise for like a few months, and then we can just ship it off like that.
Yeah. Getting the people, that's something I've been talking about lately. It's like, find the people who are good at doing whatever
what
it
you're looking
is.
for.
Yeah, like why am I about to spend all this time learning this new skill when I know somebody that's good at it?
Yeah.
And they can do it. Like,
exactly.
and they love doing it. Like, let those
Yeah.
people do it.
And I think that's something I had to learn too, because originally, like, I'd be like, "Nah, I'll just figure it out." And I think that was my problem, because I would want to be able to do everything, which is a blessing and curse to figure it out by yourself. But again, we don't have like the privilege of time anymore. So just getting someone else who is able to take that space up for you and support you in the way that you need is easier.
Sorry.
It's okay. I was done, actually.
No,
It came at the right time.
Did it come?
Yeah.
Like, better not mess up my clip. That's funny. Yeah, I think that was a challenge. I think that's a challenge for a lot of creatives too. And then they have that saying, what is it, like, if you want to go far, then go by yourself. If you want to go fast, just go by yourself. If you want to go far, you go with a team. Yeah.
It's funny. Someone on a Heart of a City team quoted that.
They quoted that?
Yeah, in our like promo video.
Yeah.
And we have themes every year, so it was like unity that we had one year, and then he quoted that as his thing to say.
I kind of just get back to the point of being like, I don't think anyone does it by themselves. Like, who did, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no. But like, you don't usually hear about it, I guess, because sometimes like people get a lot of credit for like one thing. And I try not to like put myself on like a pedestal, and like if people are asking me about Heart of City or anything, I always try to make sure I'm like, no, it wasn't just me. Like, I had like a bunch of people backing me. So I think that part gets missed in the translation, because now when I look at a project, or even with like if I'm watching a TV show or a film, I know it wasn't just one person who takes all the credit for stuff. I'm always like, wow, whoever produced this or the team who did this did an amazing job, because it wasn't just one person.
No, it's never. But they don't put the credits at the beginning of the movie. Yeah. Everybody like, I'm out. I don't care who put this together. We know the director.
I be sitting through the credits. I'm like reading all the names and all the random titles that they got.
That's funny. I look for my name. I'm like, who has Wendell? Like, there's usually a Wendell. Like, for some reason.
That's
like,
funny. I don't see my name.
You don't. That's okay.
It's okay.
What's the origin of your name?
Oh, that's funny. LOL. So allegedly. I was conceived in Paris, and and then like I guess they heard like a version of Paris out there, or like how they pronounced it. So then they got a little freaky.
If you were an artist, I'll tell you, "Conceived in Paris" is your first album title. Like, that's
Conceived in Paris.
Conceived in Paris, or the intro or something. Like, it gotta be somewhere there.
Right.
Maybe the name of your first book is gonna be, I don't know, Conceived in Paris. Is that what they told you?
That's what my mom said. So hey, I'm a listener.
Hey, shout out to mom.
That was her. Yeah, she can't tell. She can't say otherwise.
Yeah,
I wasn't there.
Yeah. All the while you're like conceived in Connecticut.
Right.
You're like, no.
It was definitely overseas.
It was overseas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because my dad was in the military. So.
Yeah, you were definitely.
I was over there.
Okay, that's funny. So okay, all right. Because I'm like, I know you're Jamaican. Is that?
Yeah.
I'm like,
is that Jamaican? No.
It's not okay.
No.
Good. All right.
If it was Jamaican, it'd be like a Stacey Ann or something.
Stacey Ann, yeah. There's a couple of other. I mean, even with that being Jamaican, like, how has that influenced, your music taste, your artistic views?
Thankfully, I have two parents who were heavy into music. Like, my mom's like big R&B, but also like in Jamaica, as she would explain to me a lot of times, their radio stations would get like not just like one type of genre like how we have here. You would have to hear everything. So she is really real versed on like so many different genres, which helped me because I'm growing up listening to like soft rock, and like my uncle like really loves Aerosmith and like things like that, where you're just like, why do we know this? Yeah. But it's because like they were like American culture was just super broad, so they would just have to play and you listen to everything and anything, even like British culture. So they would just like playing tunes on the radio, and then now I feel like I have such a nice palette of different like genres because they were just listening to everything and anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's something that artists don't even really incorporate? They don't really incorporate their culture when they're from like I don't like my dad's from Grenada. I'm not. You don't hear ounce of that in my music. That's not.
Nah, I mean, sometimes I hear and like I don't know. Like I think people assume that like being Jamaican is like okay, you're just listening to reggae and dancehall.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like bits and pieces, like it doesn't always have to be that. Even though that's where like a lot of sound culture originates from Jamaica. Just throw it out there too.
Oh, brother.
Rap, you know. But I think there's just like so many other elements that can evolve from something, but it doesn't have to actually like just be that sound.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. But I like that people try to do the whole like Drake's more Jamaican than a lot of
Jamaican Drake
people.
was great.
You know what I'm saying? I love Jamaican Drake. You know what I'm saying? Who doesn't love Jamaican Drake?
That was a time.
That's what I'm like. They be like, oh, you use all the accents. Like, use more. Like, come on. Like, pull another one out.
He's an actor. I'll give him that.
That's funny. So I love Jamaican Drake. I wanted to also talk about, because you had a Friendsgiving for the hiking club.
Oh, yeah.
So I wanted to talk about the hiking club. I know you said I could go, but I've had a hard time hiking.
Oh no,
yes.
sorry.
Mm-hmm. How'd that come about? Like, what made you say I'm gonna put together a hiking club?
It's funny because my aunt in Jamaica, she has a hiking club with her friends.
Oh wow!
And then so it's like the same format. Like they go to like a random mountain or whatever and do the hike and then come back. And then after they have like some catering waiting there for them and they all kind of eat and commune and whichever. So I was like, I want to do that with my friends.
That's funny.
So I just kind of like asked around and was like, all right, who wants to like kind of start something? And it started off as like me, like 3-4 friends.
Yeah, I thought it was like 5 people. And then sometimes you get a random. Like, where are all these people? Like,
it's
like,
a lot of people.
I'm like,
and
whoa.
It started off with like me and 3 other friends of my mom on the first hike. And then, I don't know, it just like word of mouth kind of spreads quick. And then everyone, like, it ends up being where like, oh, I'm going to bring my friend this hike. And then I'll bring my friend to the next one.
Yeah.
And the biggest hike that we had was like 17 people. And that was massive. I couldn't believe like the more cars just kept pulling up.
That's lovely.
And my favorite part is just seeing like everyone else become friends like after the hike and like exchanging socials. And we have a group chat, so like you could see like oh yeah, this person went to this hike and although not everybody met on different like hikes, but they can see each other in the chat. And then we all met up at the Friendsgiving. So even you saw that. It was like 30 people.
Yeah, I'm like, where are all these people? I did not know these people was all hiking. Like, what are they? That's good though.
A lot of us.
Because health is wealth. So, you know, because how long, like, you guys were gone, I feel like, pretty lengthy time. Like, it wasn't like you could like 20-minute walk and then we're done.
Nah, we'll pick like some difficult hikes, try to get, it's like a moderate or like to pretty, I don't know, pretty intense, or by accident intense. But yeah, they'll be like minimum an hour and a half. Yeah. And then I think the max we've done was like a 3-hour hike or something.
See?
But it's fun while you're on
No, I feel you. I'm on your side.
That's why we're all like this, because we spend so much time together. Yeah. Like we're out there like just cackling, and then we go out to get food after.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's a lot of bonding. Yeah. That's great. That's great. Or maybe I'll start like a book club.
You can just do anything.
I definitely want to make sure I make one hike next year.
No, you should.
That's on my bucket list. That and just make the playlist for the well, once I do that, I'll be like, all right, good, I'm good. But I thought the hiking club was dope. I don't really see people doing too much of clubs activities. Like, kind of felt like a anime. Like I don't know if you watch animes, but there's always these clubs in there. They'd be like, oh such and such club, yeah. Like they're always doing like clubs. Like that's literally what they're called. Like, oh, we're part of the whatever game it is. They're like that club, and I'm like, this is dope.
It's
This is dope.
interesting.
Yeah.
I'm
So.
starting to see some clubs pop up, at least in like my circles. And I think, ironically, it's like the most I've seen like this year. So I think it's just been like a general movement of everybody kind of wanting to do stuff. Like, I've seen a ton of running clubs. So like that has been like the highest influx. And then I'll see some tennis clubs. I've seen I don't know. I just seem I'm happy like adults are coming together and just doing healthy stuff together. You know, we can have fun and go to the clubs, but also like, what are we doing for exercise?
That's fine. I mean, but you also are always like doing the exercise thing, and you never really stop playing soccer, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been on and off, not as competitive as I used to.
Yeah. Well, like you never stop, like hardcore stop.
Yeah,
Like,
I guess,
like
the
I'm
longest,
done with this. Like,
I guess the longest stop was like 2 years or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, even that doesn't count. I don't know.
No, that don't count. Long as you like just picked it up, I guess, again.
Yeah.
But that's a club too.
Yeah,
like once you're,
that was with my coworkers, so
That's
they
dope.
just like they started something recently, and I was like, all right, let me get out there.
Yeah. Being an athlete, do you feel like you naturally have a competitive spirit, or do you feel like not?
Yeah, I think so. Not even I think, I know so. Super competitive, especially if I'm playing. But there's also like the discipline part of it too. That's like instilled in my brain. It's like you got to get something done. Like that's just like something that feels so natural now that like it kind of transfers over to like how I work. Like I don't start anything without finishing it. You know?
How important is that? That's a good. Hey, look. I've been called a Dr. Calamitous, you know, from Jimmy Neutron. Like, yo, you just starting stuff. Like, I'm like, man, I ain't gonna finish it, but yeah.
I mean, I think I've always kind of been that way. Like I want to see something through, especially how I envision it. So, I don't know. I don't think I've ever been like I know that there are people who do struggle with like seeing things through to the finish line, but it's never been me. I feel like
what do you think that comes from? Like, like what helps you to say, okay, I know I have to finish this or see it through? Like, how do you even get to that?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's a great question. I think it's 2 parts, and maybe my answer might change later on, but I think it comes one part from like my upbringing. I think a lot of it was encouraged from my family and parents who like allowed me to be a dreamer and just do stuff. And I had naturally just wanted to, I don't know, just be the best. I don't know if that sounds a little bit like cocky, but
no. Hey, Ash Ketchum wanted to be the best too.
Right,
so
sound like
ain't nobody hate on Ash Ketchum.
I just always I needed to like I was an overachiever as like a kid in school, and like I always like from a young age I just wanted to do the most. Like I can remember in like elementary school I was like, all right, our teacher was like, oh yeah, like you guys think of a song and then we'll perform it. I looked to my group. I was like, all right, we're going to think of a song and a dance. And then y'all sing this part. I'm going to do a little dance on the floor. Like, it was just like, always took into another step. So I think it's just been in me, and maybe it's like genetically, like my parents are like that too. But now I feel like that combined with soccer, it's just always like, all right, not only do I have to see it and do it, I have to finish it. Yeah.
What's the negatives of that?
Oh, so much pressure on yourself. I put a ton of pressure on myself because I know I'm like, all right, like there's no way I can't finish this. I've done it. I've done X, Y, and Z in the past.
Does that breed like how like during that conversation? Because I know with me, like I'll set out to do something, and it's like during the process, I'm having this doubt, like 30 times through knowing like, well, you can finish it. And I'm like, hey, maybe you can't. Maybe you can't finish it. Like, does that come for you? Like, or it's just like, no, I'm going to finish it. And I may just like, no, I'm finishing this. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I never ever questioned it, I guess. I'm grateful for the ability to not question it either.
No, that's powerful.
Yeah. But I feel like I've always like in my heart, I'm like, it was never like, oh, I can do it. And just like, okay, like when can I realistically get it done? It was like, that was always a question for me. So, I thankfully there weren't a lot of people who instilled doubt in me.
Good.
So I think that has a lot to do with why I'm like that, because it was never like, you say you want to do that, but can you? Like from other people, it was always just like, oh, that's fun. Go ahead.
Go ahead and do it.
Uh-huh.
Which is important. Surroundings, atmosphere, environment. Like,
Yeah.
who do you have around you encouraging you? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I know that I think that is a lot of what seeps in. You can just be one person like, you can just start doubting. Like, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
And
or people who never like saw something and like seen it through. But yeah, my parents were just very like, oh, that's dope. Do it. You know? And I'm happy for that because they never questioned anything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's important. So for all those people out there, if you're doubting yourself, just change that mind. Not to get churchy, but
Right.
transformed by the renewing of your mind, and to just make it a knowing instead of guessing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I guess I can get it done versus I know I'm going to get it done is two different lanes.
Yeah. And it requires a lot of confidence. I think I'm gonna show you this video later, or maybe you can just edit it in or something.
I can edit it.
But there's this old like VHS video, like my dad recording me. I was probably like 4, and I'm like singing a song, and I'm like kind of shy about it. And you hear him in the background, he's like, louder, I can't hear you.
Yeah.
Like it's just like that type of like confidence that you need to just like be able to do. Like, all right, my dad said I could sing,
Yeah.
and then you're like, all right, And I think that was a reminder of like, oh, my parents have been doing this for me since I was born.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
I think I talked about that with somebody. They were like, oh, but you had very encouraging parents and this and that. I'm like, well, my mom was, but my dad wasn't, right? And so you get to a point, even when you get your friends can be those people instilling some doubt in you. Like, you never know.
Yeah.
But just bringing back, like, I know I've gotten back to that point of being like, no, I know this can get done. Like, I know it's going to happen. I know. And it's like almost like when you're talking to people, it kind of seems like this guy's in La La Land. Like, what is he talking about?
Yeah.
But that is, I think that is what a lot of people need.
Yeah.
They need to be in La La Land of like, no. With action, with planning and action behind it. Yeah. Just don't dream about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think the dream can also like go side and side, but like someone who's actually done something.
Yeah.
And once you see someone do things, like you're like, oh, it's possible.
It's possible. Yeah, it's possible. Broaden those views. I wanted to also talk about, which is one of my, so me and Parisse are both part of a collective, Play Factory. Right, and you've been killing it this year. I told you that you got MVP for this year because you got
After
MVP for this year.
Right.
Play Factory Awards coming soon. One of my favorite skits from this year, which I know I probably like put it in the chat like multiple times. I'm like, I'm dying at this skit. Was the hairdresser skit, and I just. I'm thinking about it now. That's just a funny skit. What's the inspiration behind that skit? Because I know me, myself, I've actually talked to somebody who was like, my hairdresser canceled the appointment on me. And I seen her at a party. Like, that was a real thing. Yeah. So, like, to see that...
It's real life.
Yeah, it's real life. Has this actually happened to you before?
A lot of those scenarios have.
Yeah.
So that's the messed up part. It wasn't hard to write. I was just like, let me draw like, this scenario.
Yeah.
And I think the straw that broke my back was over the summer. It was like the same scenario. Like my hairdresser, it was like a new lady I was going to, had the appointment booked forever. She already asked me like all the things that I would want.
Yeah.
It was like 2 days before the appointment. She was like, oh, what kind of hair did you want again? I was like, what do you mean? It's 2 days. Like, you should have already ordered it.
Yeah.
That was red flag number 1. And then number 2 is like the next day, she's like, oh, like, I'm so sorry. It was my birthday. It was literally my birthday. So she canceled the appointment because she was like stuck in Puerto Rico or something. And then like,
no.
Yeah. And I was on IG, like looking at all her stories.
Was she in Puerto Rico?
She was in Puerto Rico with her man. And I think I was ranting about that for so long with my friends. So I was like, let me just turn this into a joke.
That's hilarious, yo. I think that's part of the one. Like, I had to cancel because my man took me on a surprise. I'm like, yo, this is gold. This is gold. Like, I just knew it was gold. Speaking of Play Factory, you got any upcoming short films or anything that you're working on that you?
I do.
She's like, I'm not telling. No, I see the face. You're like, I'm not talking about it though.
No, I'm excited to talk about it. Yeah, I haven't like been sold myself on a name yet, but I'm hoping to do a web series next year. Probably like 8 episodes long. And I already wrote the first episode, which made me like really excited for what's to come. And I already know once we all put our brains together on what it can look like, it's gonna come out really nice. And I'm excited for it. And I think that's where I want to put a lot of my efforts in this year, and just producing that and writing that this like for the winter. Finishing out like 4 episodes by the time we come back.
Hey, off a break. Yeah, no, I hate the breaks.
We're gonna come back and everybody's gonna listen to. I'm like, all right, I got 4 new episodes.
That's lovely. I need to find some time to like watch TV. Is that important for filmmakers? You feel like watching TV or movies or short films?
I mean, sometimes it's easy to just kind of get bogged down by or overwhelmed by how much there is. But I think it's good to question like why you like something so much and just watch it over and over again. Like either watch it for the dialogue or watch it for the visuals and like, go back and watch, and like the acting, like you just got to question like what decisions were made while you're absorbing it. And then just say like, oh, I can appreciate this because da da da. And then once you pick out favorites of like these are the type of films I like to watch, then you probably are onto something on like your style and
being geared towards that. Yeah. Because I know with music, I say a lot of times like sometimes the music you like isn't the music you're able to make. But I feel like with film it's kind of different. It's like usually you can make the stuff you like better than like just going off road. Like if this is what you like, it's easier to write type of deal.
Yeah. I don't know. With music, I think there is part of it too, where like if you like something, there's obviously elements of it that like
you can take. Yeah.
You're like, oh dang, I really like this and this, or like I can do this, but maybe this seems a little too crazy.
Yeah.
Like I'm not that advanced yet, or something like But I don't know. I think there is that appreciation to be like, dang, like I really appreciate the way they did X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. I try to be realistic, like somebody with a super deep voice, like you're not making music like The Weeknd, like like it's not coming out like that.
Some of the reason why the people are famous or their music blown up is because they got the little element that like a lot of people can't. A lot of people can't replicate. But.
I love The Weeknd.
Yeah, me too.
So I also, cause I know you do you do a lot with your job. So like even with that, I know we were talking about some marketing things one time. So I just kind of wanted to like squeeze the rag a little bit, and just 3 marketing mistakes that people and brands make.
Oh wow, God! I wish I would have been prepared for this question.
Oh, we don't prepare you on here. No, you can give one though. Just because I know consistency is always one of them. People post and disappear for 3 months. And it's like, what are you doing? So,
I feel like people don't find the story that they're trying to tell, and there's no intentionality behind. Like, although like the time that you put into like thinking things through, feel like long and strenuous for you, but I think there's also part of it that like the audience, without them even knowing, needs to see or understand the story in like 3 seconds without you, and it has to be consistent with like any rollout. There needs to just be like, what are you trying to say, and why does it feel important to like who you're trying to communicate that to? And I think a lot of brands, people, artists miss that when they're like promoting anything. I think something that frustrates me. This is probably like different rants.
No, go ahead. Go on a rant. Go on a rant. They need to hear this stuff.
Something that frustrates me, and like when I see it, is like you can just tell people are like doing things to like for popularity or like just doing things to get like attention and they have no brand within themselves. Like if you're trying to become famous or you're trying to become internet TikTok star, whatever, like you want people to just look at you and be like, oh, what do they do? And describe it in like 5 seconds. But a lot of people just kind of just like want to do anything or whatever and just be like for fame and traction.
Does that come with like a sincerity, like them not being sincere about what they want to do?
Yeah, I think there is some like sincerity. It does require some like, okay, like who am I?
Who am I? Yeah.
Just be able to translate that for other people. But I do see that a lot where I'm like, man, like I know you didn't think this through. I think I saw like not to throw out names, but like Kim Kardashian put out something recently. It was like for a promotion for her song Santa Baby, and she had this video that like was obviously just felt like it was for attention. It didn't feel like there was anything intentional behind it. So that kind of frustrated me because I'm like, okay, it's art, whatever, but what are you trying to say with this? And I think a lot of people do that and without,
and they don't have Kim Kardashian's following, so it's like it's super ineffective.
Yeah,
like,
no, it's super ineffective. And I still think like even with the following, I'm like, God, you could have thought this through a little bit. Like, what are you trying to do? What comes next? And what are you selling us right now? But yeah,
that's good. That's good. That's just one of the many rants.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, intentionality. I think that is
intentionality. Knowing the brand. I'm gonna write these down for later. I'm gonna be studying. Knowing who you are as an artist, and it's funny you say that because I feel like that definitely I have reached a point of like being like, who am I? Like what? And that came at a point as if you've ever listened to my music, my older music, a lot of it was bashing women, and I got to a point and I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like this is not who I am.
Yeah.
I want to love people. You know what I'm saying? It just comes to a different point and you kind of get lost. And I think that stops people from posting too. And it's like, who am I? Like where am I going with this? Like what story do I want to tell? Who do I want to reach?
Yeah.
Like,
So I think that's fair. And it also could be like, who do you want to be? Rather than like, who am I? I think you mentioned The Weeknd earlier, and I think he does a really good job of like this connecting the whole story, like from start to finish with like his rollouts. Like it just feels like a little tease, like mystery, and it's always the same thing. And then like it tells the story, and then it comes into the end. So I think there's that part of it too.
So you want your rollout to tell a story?
Yeah.
I'm just taking this down for the notes.
Oh,
later.
yeah.
This is for the people. You want your rollout to tell a story.
So that the audience could just be like, oh, I get it.
Yeah. Without it being forced on them. Like, hey, just...
Or cheesy.
Yeah.
Like, it's like you could get in and be like, all right. But
not too cheesy. Okay. All right. So I'm taking down all the little tidbits. Okay, good. Yeah, because, okay. All right, that's good. So, did you want to let them know where they can go tune in to some of your stuff?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I have 3 handles that I'm always promoting. Welcome to Parisse, which is spelled funny, but it's WLCMTOPARISSE.
Yes.
Or you could just search my name. It'll come up. Play Factory. So that's Play Factory CO. And that's on Instagram. And I think on YouTube it's Play Factory YT or something like that. So those channels, and Heart of the City, NJ. We're just on Instagram. So it's Heart of the City, NJ. And yeah, those are the handles. Always promote.
All right. Thank you guys. This is Parisse here. Wendell, you guys have a blessed day.